Good evening. How's everyone going tonight? I'm just checking. I've got a few screens and things going at the moment, so I'm just checking that we are set. I think we are live and making sure that it's all good to go. Welcome to Cuppa with Harry. And tonight, I've just got to check my other page. Excuse me for a moment. Making sure that I can get the picture. Just got to check my other page. Excuse me for a moment. Load up. Peter. So, how you, Peter? Hope you're going well, mate. Heard everything's going all right. Resting up in hospital tonight again, I think, and then all out. So, praying a quick healing and that everything goes well for you, and then back home again. So, be able to enjoy watching your beloved Parramatta play again. So tonight we're going to be blessed with our Cuppa with Harry, and I've got not just one guest tonight. I have got two guests. So please, a big round of applause if we can welcome tonight Fred and Eunice. Come on in. The crowd goes wild.
The crowd goes wild.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Just trying to see how I get my. Sorry, mate.
It's okay.
How I get my. See the comments, and no sound. It should be. Let me check. Yes, it should be sound. It was working there. Hey, Chris, how are you? Kath and Jenny, I hope you got sound. We've got sound at our end, so it should be good. So welcome, Fred Eunice. Thanks for joining tonight with Cuppa with Harry. I've got my beloved Broncos cup, but as a friend of mine so graciously said, you need to change cups. So, for those who don't know you, how'd you get saved?
My parents, they've been Christian all their lives. That's how I started at an early age of 5 years old. I think when I turned 15 that I started shying away from it because being a young teenager, you want to play sports.
And you're from Cook Islands?
Yep. I was born in the Cook Islands.
Yeah,
lovely
When's the last time you've been back?
Probably 3 years ago.
Is it still as nice?
Yeah, still. The weather's good, it's like Queensland's weather, so really, really nice. And you used to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's how I started. That's how I was born. But from 15 onwards, I was just concentrating on my sport, playing league.
Yeah.
Until, I don't know, might be in the mid-20s, and I still... I don't know, I just didn't want to go back to church because it wasn't my life then.
Yeah.
Until we came in 2008 in Australia, that's when things started turning around.
Change for you.
Yeah, it was a big change. It was a huge change.
Yeah.
Because I think, because before we left New Zealand in 2008, my mum and dad always said to us, you make sure you get Anthony to go to church.
Yeah.
That was a wish, was to get him involved because he loved church. He was still young then. I said, okay. And so we decided to contact Dedra.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And then come along.
And
wow.
Yeah, we went along and see them and see what church they went to, and it just snowballed. So we went to C3, that was our first church ever.
Yeah.
We were there for about a year, yes, about 2 years. 2 years maximum. It was good. It was like a starting point for it, but I think I really enjoyed it. Just being in the presence of God, and the worship team and all that. It was really good. It was really interesting.
Nice.
And it was really nice. But then things started taking a turn, and I didn't, I wasn't comfortable then. Probably about 3 years or 2 years, and I'm thinking,
and then we met you at Church One at the time.
Church One.
Yeah.
Dunamis.
Dunamis. That's right. And then Church One, and then here with us at Momentum. How'd you get saved, Eunice?
Same thing as Fred, brought up in a Catholic family.
Yep.
My father was brought up staunch Catholic.
Staunch Catholic in New Zealand?
Yes, in New Zealand. He wasn't as staunch as his parents were. So he told us go and live life, even though we had to go to church and Sunday school every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, so we had that grounding when we were young, and then grew up, and like Fred said, we did life, and then when we started to have children, then we found our way back to the church again.
Yeah. How many kids? Two, everyone. Two kids, Anthony and Caitlin.
Two of our own and
Lots of other people's kids. As what happens in family homes, your families grow and you have your kids and you take on anyone else's who happens to come past.
Yeah, always.
Yes, so we're going to talk a bit about a story with your grandparents now. And so we're going to talk a bit about what happened with your grandson a bit later on. But so through everything, and when, as we were talking a bit earlier about in March, how, we didn't know what the year was going to look like. How did your lives get affected through when COVID started and everything like that? Did it change much? You look like you're warm. You want me to put the hair on?
No, it'll be right.
Okay.
For us, it's been a family. It's the eye opener. It really is. You in your entire life, you wouldn't think this would infect not only our family but the whole world. In COVID-19, it was just an eye opener. It just, you get to appreciate life, I think, after what other people's going through and the ones that have been infected.
Did your work slow down?
No, it didn't actually.
What do you do for everyone?
I work in the steel industry up in Brisbane.
Yep.
We deal a lot with structural beams for contractors outside.
Browns Plains Way, and watch out for that road. Sometimes there are cameras waiting on the road, which we won't talk about. No.
We won't talk about that. Anyway, that's why, our managers put a lot of things in place and kept us going. So it was good because he didn't have to lay off anybody. I had to shut down the afternoon shift, bring everybody back on days, and we just consolidate.
So it did affect a little bit,
we just consolidate, and everybody just, we got through it, and it was really good because I think a lot of the guys...
Yeah, we were very blessed.
Did you get busier?
Yes, we did. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
I don't know what was the
It seems to be in construction. People I talk to in construction are just busier.
Yeah.
We
don't know why.
Not sure why either.
The boss is working. We don't know why. I don't know what it is, but but it was good for everybody, So. And
so, Eunice, for everyone, what do you
do? I work in the disability services, so essential services, and we, work-wise, both Fred and I weren't affected. We had to get up and go to work.
You work in essential services, and does that mean you had more restrictions placed on you? Did you have to be more careful? Was it testing?
Yes. We had restrictions. Customers couldn't go, or clients couldn't go certain places, so we had to keep them home, and then staff that service, whereas we would bring them into the hub, what we call the hub, where they did activities, and you had X amount of staff, but when they couldn't do that anymore, they had to stay at their houses, and we had to. That's my job, to staff them, roster them,
make sure they're okay.
Make sure everyone's got a carer with them.
You haven't been affected by any people with COVID or anything?
No.
That's not, praise the Lord for that.
No. I do have one first cousin who ended up in hospital, but that's in the Melbourne outbreak recently.
Oh, okay. Are they okay?
I don't know if he's okay. I haven't. I'm getting information that they're feeding back to New Zealand, and it's going from New Zealand back to us.
Oh, wow.
I believe he's okay, but I wouldn't say he's fine.
So life probably, did it get busier?
Got different. I wouldn't say busier. Sports, our daughter Caitlin plays basketball club and rep, so that keeps us very busy.
I call her Shorty, but she's already taller than me.
Yeah. Yes, and that pretty much takes up most of our free time.
It does.
We only have Fridays off. All the rest is basketball. So from Monday.
Do you actually like basketball? Or did you have to
learn? We've grown to love it.
We've grown to love it.
Yeah,
so.
And that's what you do with kids, isn't it?
Yeah.
David played AFL. I knew nothing about AFL, but I learned about AFL. And
it's what you do.
Yeah, it's what you do with your kids when they want to do sport and different things. Yes, travelling a bit because she's good at it.
Yeah, a lot of travelling.
So when COVID came along, that came to a full stop. And so suddenly we had these evenings and we had these weekends. So we got to know each other all over again.
Did you find one of the things that I've been sharing with people that my sister first put this thought in my head because she was making a comment on her family. My sister lives down the street, and she said that one of the things she's been really thankful for in this season is the fact that they were able to have more family time.
I agree.
And she didn't. She's a busy woman. My sister is always working here, there, and everywhere, and she was actually enjoying the family time. They went and bought bikes so they can do bike riding as a family and going out and do things. Did you just find that too? That just as a family unit, you were learning to do things together again. Yeah, the lake walks and nice, nice. Wow. So, tell us what happened with your grandson.
I wasn't home at the time.
Yeah.
Our miracle grandson.
Your miracle grandson.
Yeah.
His name is, for everyone?
Shy.
Shy. Yeah.
Shy Palmer Adams.
Is Shy?
Oh no, he's not Shy. And don't ask me how they got their name, but it is the name. We didn't like it, but kind of grown.
I don't mind the name. I don't mind the name Shy. It's what happens today.
Yeah.
I think it's people are going for different names and different. How's it spelled? Do you know?
Yeah.
SHYE.
SHYE. Yeah, nice.
Shy.
Yes.
Very nice.
So,
how old is he now?
13, 14 months?
14.
14 months.
Yep.
About 14 months.
14 months. So you had a bit of
Walking
an episode that something happened in COVID time
Yeah.
when it started. Nothing to do with COVID at all, but just something that happened. And so, tell us about that.
April the 24th, which was the Friday.
Yep.
This year. We had a friend because we had our stove at home. It needed a seal, right? And we couldn't get it anyway. So our friend of ours, he's from Chief One, Jim.
Yep.
Okay.
Is he?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. He's the old friend of ours. So we knew him for a long time because we knew him through Blake. So we got a hold of him and we asked him because we knew that was his job.
Yeah.
He's fixing up washing machines and fridges and stoves. He was a contractor. So he got the part for us, rang him up because we couldn't get it anyway. He said, these are the parts you need to order special so you can get it. So he came over on that day on the 24th, which was a Friday, and it was only an easy, probably 5 minutes job. It didn't take him long to put it in.
Yeah.
Pull the old one up, put the new one in. So we did that. I think it must have been about after lunchtime when he arrived. So we were just sitting there in the kitchen just talking about it. Then Shy and Isha walked in and Anthony.
Yep.
So we saw the baby, we said hello and all that. And so we turned around and started talking. So he went to the room, both of them, three of them went to the room actually. So I said to him, I'll walk you out. So we walked out I walked him out towards his van. I think it must be probably about 3 minutes just talking to him next to the van on the driver's side. We couldn't see the door because I was on the driver's side. So I was there for about 3-4 minutes just having a quick chat and, just said to him, thanks a lot for everything. So he jumped in the van and I walked off back through the garage to go inside the house. Yeah. He started reversing out. He reckons, he said to me, he started reversing out. I was inside, but I know he reversed out because I can hear the van reversing out. Yeah. And the next one, probably about 20 seconds after that, I heard somebody cry. And I'm thinking, that sounds like Shy. So I ran outside, and it was him. It was just one of those things you don't want to see.
Shy was behind the car and no one saw.
On the side.
Under the car.
And nobody didn't see it, It was just one of those.
Must have been heart in your mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Panic.
It just panicked, hit the panic button. But then Jim already jumped out because he was screaming.
Yeah.
He jumped out. He walked over and he saw the baby there and he was just...
beside himself.
Yeah. He just couldn't believe what happened because he had a reverse camera.
Yeah.
He had everything. And he reckons that when he reversed, he heard kind of like a nudge because he came out real slow. Yeah. He's not his normal putting reverse into his drive. No, he just reversed out slow and he said felt like a nudge on the left-hand side. Yeah. And he looked in the camera and couldn't see it. So he reversed a bit more. And he felt it again and he said, that's not right. So he chucked it in the drove forward. That's when he heard the baby scream.
Oh, wow. Wow, I remember at the time we had a big prayer request going around everywhere. So the church was praying and people at Church 1 would have been praying as well.
Yeah, they did.
So what happened then?
So he got out and he said, I know I didn't run them over, Fred, because I would have felt it. And I know I didn't,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it was just a nudge that I felt, you know, even though he got him on the side, but it kind of like grazed him.
Yeah,
So we picked him up and he said, I didn't see him in the camera.
yeah.
It's just a simple reason I did not see him in the camera. He was really on the blind spot.
Yeah.
Couldn't see, but he felt something twice. Something said to him, just move forward.
And that's a bit of a miracle in itself.
Yeah, it is.
You know, I drive out of the garage here or somewhere, and you don't often, you look in your camera, and if you see there's nothing there in the camera, you just keep going. And like most people, I don't just go slow. It's just reverse normal speed and you go out. And, but he didn't do that for some reason.
For some reason.
So you saw Shy there. What did you do? And
I picked him up. I picked him up, you know, trying to calm him down. I ran inside to get the mother and the dad, you know, and they held him. They just couldn't believe it too. You know, they just cannot believe what happened to me. He had grazed on the left-hand side, and it was just, and his skin, you can see his skin was peeling off.
Oh.
And Jim came over and he said, you know, I didn't see him. No, you didn't. You couldn't have, because, you know, because he said I had a reverse camera on. Couldn't see him in the camera.
Yeah.
I could not see him in the camera.
Yeah.
So he said to me, do you want me to hang on? I said, no, this is, you know, just getting a bit out of hand. We'll give you a ring later on. You know, you can go, but keep your phone on, I'll give you a ring. So I get him. Because I knew the cops would be coming overseas. So I said, So he drove off. Then Anthony rang up the emergency service, which is the ambos and the police and the fire. They all turned up all at once.
Yeah.
Probably about 4 minutes. If that. They were that quick.
Wow.
Yeah, couldn't believe it. So they arrived, though, just probably about half a dozen cop cars turned up first.
Yeah, exactly. Haven't got a wide street either. So.
Yeah. Oh, they were just, siren was going, 2 ambos turned up.
Wow.
They all turned up. Then the fire brigade on top of that turned up. And I was still, because when the police officers arrived, must have been about 8 of them all ran in towards the house looking for the baby.
Yeah.
And I knew there was 2 of them was standing back, just having a look at the house. I don't know, probably just having a look, see what kind of environment they're dealing with. So they started walking around and they were looking at the baby, see how the baby was, and they knew straight away, we'll go outside and do an investigation now. And that's when the ambulance turned up. So they took over.
I think you remember you saying that when the ambulance turned up, they've been to a lot of these things and they were expecting the worst. And through their investigations and looking at things, they said this is a miracle. It's, you know, it should have been worse, but it wasn't.
Yeah, because I was talking to a lot of just a few of those police officers I was talking. They said 9 times out of 10, it's not good for the family.
Yeah,
it is not good for the family. This is never. It's not good for the family. So when we hear a child get run over in the driveway, we know to expect the worst case scenario. And that's what they were expecting when they turned up.
Yep.
They weren't expecting anything else.
Yeah, well, that's what you do. So,
it could have been to that,
Shy's taken to hospital, they did all the tests and everything, and then what were the results of the tests?
Oh, there was nothing wrong. All he did was just a graze.
A graze, yeah.
That's all it was. No internal damage.
Praise the Lord, eh?
Praise the Lord. Because even when they did their investigation, they come up and they said, this house has been blessed. You guys Christians, you guys got a miracle baby. Because
they actually asked, they said, are you guys Christians?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we go to church and I even said to one of them, you know, you guys should go to church too, because after what you guys go through. And they said,
I don't know how they do it. I really don't know.
Because we don't know how we do it, but and it's so good when you hear a lot of people, when you see a good result like that, it turns out it's just, you know, just one of those things, and they praised it, you know. They said it was nobody's fault, because they did the thorough investigation, because they even talked to Jim. He turned up, he came back, they looked at the camera, and they said, wow, you couldn't see it.
How
where they had the trolley, because he was pushing his little trolley around, so they put him on the side, on the left-hand side, and they kept going until you could see it. Still couldn't see it. And they said, you're kidding me. Can't see it in the camera, because they had it in review.
So they tested it out.
Where it was.
Wow.
You couldn't have seen it. I know I couldn't have.
Yeah.
Well, it's not your fault then. It's just one of those lucky things. It's just lucky you stopped.
And it would have been very traumatising for Jim as well as,
Oh,
the parents as well. It would have been very traumatising for
oh,
everyone.
it sure was.
So I know when I had my accident, that's after the panic goes away and you start to think a bit, you start to realise, no, God's got this. God's got this. Was that going through your mind and your spirit? No, God's got this. God's got this all the time, and you sort of, probably a little bit of that hope, that building in your faith, to say, God's got this. But inside, because your faith grows, and you say, no, God's got this. He's looking after us, and so it becomes a testimony, because also for your son, and so for Anthony, that he can say, no, God did something here, and he looked after his boy, and so that always becomes a landmark for them, and so they know that God is there no matter what. And for Shai himself, later on, that there's a marker on their lives, and say, no, God's got them, and that's I don't. For myself, I was born preemie back in the 60s, and they said I wasn't supposed to survive, apparently, in Holland, and so but I did. I was only 500 grams and 30 centimetres long back in those days, and I did, but I've always kept it in my faith as a marker in my faith to say I wasn't supposed to be here, but I am. And that will be a marker in Shai's faith one day, that he'll be to say, accidents happen and things happen, but God's with me in everything we do, and so it'll be a great testimony to share with him when he gets older, and say, God's got you.
Oh yeah,
God's got you, son. He's looking after you. No matter what you do, he's looking after you, and so God has a way, doesn't he?
He sure is.
Being around us in the situation. I'm sure Jim had to go through and deal with the emotions of it all as well, and in what happened of the trauma of it all.
Actually, it was amazing. Like, I was rushing home from work, so I arrived just as the ambulances were pulling out, and so there was, I don't know how to explain it. That just happened, and yet I felt calm. I felt everything was going to be all right. I was in prayer the whole way. It takes an hour for me to get home from work, and I was in prayer the whole way. It's a long time to pray. Yeah, a long time to drive and pray. I was interrupted, and by Caitlin was ringing me 3 or 4 times, hysterical. Yeah. I didn't know what happened. I didn't understand fully what happened, because they weren't talking coherently. It was the brokenness I heard in Fred's voice when he rang twice. That sort of disturbed my calm. And I went, oh. But then I got there and we spoke, me, Fred and Jim, we talked. Then we said, when the police left, they talked to us too, and then they left, and they said, yes, they said it was a miracle. You have been blessed. So they left. We had a debrief amongst ourselves, and I says, I feel he's going to be all right. I says, I feel he's going to be okay. Yeah. The whole scene was in this calm presence. And Jim said, I feel it too. He felt it. He felt this peace. He felt this. Everything was going to be all right. Do you think that would have been also a testimony for your kids, to see your faith? Oh,
no doubt. Because we did, I was hoping that Anthony will come here, but I think he might have been a little bit shy.
A bit shy. You're welcome anytime, Anthony. You're welcome anytime.
Yeah. So, but it was great. I think it did. It did really good.
Did any of the neighbours? Did they ask and talk?
Yeah, our neighbours.
We have a neighbour. We hardly see them. Yeah. They pull up in the house. Yeah. They outside, back in the house, behind closed door, behind closed gates. Yeah. But somehow that the lady of the house, she's been super friendly ever since, and she made an effort to come over and tell us that they're glad. She could hear him crying. She knew he was going to be okay.
Yeah, it was so good to see him come out and say, really
she expressed neighbourly.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. You never know what God does, and you never know what doors God can open. He doesn't cause bad things to happen, but life has bad things, life has accidents, and life has trauma.
It does.
But all things, the word says, all things work out for good in those that love him according to his purpose. And so, it's another marker for you guys, especially over, I pray over my grandkids and I haven't even got any yet.
Yeah.
But you say no, that there's a generational there that you can say, no, we're believing for the hand of God upon our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, that they walk with the Lord and know the Lord in everything they do. I think as a parent, it's probably the greatest joy to know that God's got your kids, and even more so when you know He's got your grandkids, and that and the testimony of faith to be able to say and share to people and say what God does and the miracles that God does. I think so often the things are around us, and we take opportunities all the time. If God presents them and say, "Hey, this is what happened," we able to share it all at work or with things with people.
So,
yeah. How was the response?
they said a miracle.
Really?
They said a miracle. They came up with, everyone had a story to tell, similar, but none whereas with an outcome like ours.
Yeah.
And
you don't know what kind of effect that's going to have down the track.
Yeah.
You don't know the people you work with. They could have something could go hard and wrong for them, and they can turn around. I remember Eunice shared this story of her grandson and the miracle that God did. Could God do a miracle for me? It could happen. You never know. It's in God's hands, and those kind of things are.
Yeah.
And so you had the same. You
I shared it with everybody. Even my general manager. He was the first one to talk about it, and he just said, "I'm so happy you guys went to church because that was a miracle." Just even he agreed what I said to him. Just 9 times out of 10, the result would have been a lot worse. It's just thank God your friend decided to drive out of there slowly.
Yeah.
Because if you would have drove out normal, it would have been a different story.
Yeah.
Lots of things could have happened.
I know.
Behind,
I remember doing the devotions thing on, with Corrie ten Boom, and she said her sister said when she walked out of the bedroom during the war and shrapnel landed on her pillow, and Corrie was saying to her sister Betsy, "I could have been there. That could have hit me." And Betsy said to her straight away, "No, Corrie. There are no what ifs in God. There aren't what ifs in God. In God, He has a way, and there are no ifs, because even every encounter, and that's the amazing thing about God's grace, isn't it?
Yeah.
His grace isn't for the Christians. It's not just for the elect. It's not just for the some people. The grace of God is for the whole world. For God so loved the world that He gave His whole only begotten Son. It's for the whole world. And that means whether they know God or whether they don't know God, the grace of God is there. And so there's opportunity for people to have encounters with God in tough times, in trial times. And I think that's amazing, that people can have an opportunity to meet God. And it's the goodness of God that leads us to repentance. It's His goodness. And when we want people to get closer to God, I'm always praying, Lord, show them your goodness. Show them how much you love them. Show them how much you care. And sometimes it's in the little things like that where you go, hey, look what God did. Look what God did. That Jim was able to do that. And because it could have been, traumatizing for you, Anthony, for the whole family, for Jim, his family. The impact could have been,
the neighborhood.
Yeah, it could have been devastating. Praise the Lord, it wasn't, and praise the Lord. That, and I still believe that when we walk with the Lord, and we walk with the favor of God, because the Bible says that when we're walking in relationship with God and we dwell in the secret places of the Most High, that He overshadows us, He protects us. Doesn't mean life doesn't get hard and life doesn't have its battles or things can come against us, but we're with Him, and so His benefits are there. We love the Lord and forget not His benefits, and His benefits are so vast beyond what we can comprehend. And God is so good in every situation.
Mm-hmm.
So at the moment your lives are that, and busy with sport. Caitlin, your mum and dad said you got to win. A lot of sport. You must know basketball inside and out now.
I think so. So, well, those are lots of screaming.
Oh, that's
One
good.
of us.
Yeah. So thanks for coming along
Thank
for
you
Cuppa
for
with
having us.
Harry.
Yeah.
It's been enjoyable with my nice Broncos cup, and who knows, miracle might happen and they might win this weekend. I'm laughing too. Yeah, I doubt it. Thanks everyone
Thank
for
you.
watching. Appreciate everyone looking online, and just want to remind everyone that Thursday night we have prayer coming up, and Bruce and Narelle again and Jane are going to be taking prayer again on this Thursday night. And this Sunday we are having church in the community centre, so don't forget to register. You can go onto the webpage, you can go onto Facebook and register for church this weekend. Looking forward to seeing everyone there on Sunday. So be blessed and have a great rest of the week.
Thank
See
you.
everyone later. Thanks, guys. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming out.
Awesome.